Hi, everyone, and welcome to Berkshire Opera Festival's OperaLens, our new online series where we take a closer look at all things BOF and our upcoming season. I'm Jonathan Loy, co-founder and director of production at Berkshire Opera Festival. And today I have the pleasure to introduce you to hair, makeup, and mask designer, Beckie Kravetz. Becky has been working with BOF every year since we began in 2016. And we are so fortunate to have her extensive talent and expertise in helping us design a visual palette for the audience. Becky, tell us about how you got started in this line of work.
It's kind of a roundabout path. I originally started training as a dramaturg and realized that though I love the research aspect, what I really wanted to be doing was working with my hands rather than writing. So I ended up, I was at the Yale School of Drama studying dramaturgy. I ended up switching and doing a props internship. And learning every aspect of hands-on theater craft. And one of the classes in the props program was mask making. And I just felt like I had completely found my element. I was sculpting, I was working with faces, which had always been like a total passion of mine. Whenever I did ceramics, I was always like putting little faces on my pots. And to combine the masks with live theater and actors bringing them to life, it just felt like everything I loved was coming together, the sculpting and the theater and the performance aspect. And I got one of my first jobs after I got out of graduate school was at the Santa Fe Opera. They happened to need some masks that summer. There was a dream dancer sequence in the opera aria Dante. There were some masks in the Marriage of Figaro. The aspect of transformation for opera makeup was sometimes quite extensive and extreme. And I was like, wow, this is like masks on human faces and really bringing together the idea of the mask coming to life in a very direct way. And I went to the head of the wig and makeup department at Santa Fe and I said, I would love to learn this. Can I be your apprentice next summer? And at the end of that summer, her company got the contract to open the new opera house in Houston, and they were doing 3 brand new productions, which is huge.
Yep.
And she realized that she needed an extra assistant. She came back to me and she said, "Are you still interested in this?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, if you can come with me to San Francisco for a month, so I can train you. I will take you to Houston and let you be my assistant." And then my next stop is Los Angeles, where they have a brand new opera company. The LA Opera was just a year old at that point. And then I was with LA Opera for about 23 years. And then I was still being a mask maker on the side for theater productions. And whenever LA Opera needed masks, I got to be the resident mask maker there. And that's when I was, lucky enough to start finding regional companies that didn't have a resident makeup artist and wig designer, but as Berkshire Opera does, who people who would bring me in, mostly just for the production week. I would do all the design work and I would rent the wigs from someone else. So I wasn't doing the wig making and hairdressing part anymore, but I got to come in and just dive into production week, doing dress rehearsals, and eventually my husband and I moved back to Massachusetts, and then Jonathan, you and I found each other, and the rest is history.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand you have a makeup demonstration that you want to show us.
I do. Because I'm a mask maker, I happen to have some very human faces at my disposal. So I chose one of my mask friends who looks like he could be Falstaff, and with my makeup artistry and a beautiful wig and mutton chop set provided by our brilliant hair person, Stephen Horak. I will take you backstage, sort of, into a Falstaff transformation, working with a model who's much quieter than most of the singers I work with. So this is a speeded up demo.
Yeah. Is this mask based on anyone that you knew, or just you?
It is actually. It was a commission piece of the violinist Andre Rieu does these
Oh,
huge outdoor, of his work.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he has like a very dedicated fan base who will follow him mostly around Europe, I think,
Yeah.
to these incredible outdoor concerts. And one of his fans from England got in touch with me a few years ago and asked if I would make a mask of Andre that the fan could then wear to the concert.
Oh my gosh.
So I just want to just talk a little bit
Yes.
about what the audience is seeing with the makeup here. It's you're seeing some really bright highlights on on his above the eyebrows, on the top of the cheekbones. The whole art of opera makeup or makeup in general is about highlight and shadow. And for every shadow that you paint, you have a contrasting highlight. The shadows are dark colors, the highlights are the light colors. And that's what creates the illusion of roundness, particularly with something like Falstaff, where you're trying to make him look fatter and rounder.
Hmm.
Even if you're starting with a round face, by using highlight and shadow, you can really make that that sense of rotundity even more extreme.
Exactly. And so then how did all of this then lead also into your career of exhibiting masks as works of art? Because we all get to see your painted faces of works of art in live theater, but how did
It's wonderful to use my artistry to transform whatever face I'm given to create the character. I started really thinking about what if I, as an artist doing what I do, it was able to respond directly to the music and use my artistry to interpret the text and the music the way that a director and a singer can do. So I conceived of doing a series of masks of opera characters, and I had, because I'd been doing theater for most of my mask career, I was really sort of intrigued by the idea of the inner face of the mask, of how an actor puts on a mask and something happens between the actor and the character face. That's sort of that point of transformation. And that felt very magical to me. So I started doing art masks that were decorated on the inside. They were collaged with text or images or painted. And so I thought about doing a series of opera character masks that would have music and painting on the inside of the face. And the faces would be sort of my vision of what exactly I thought these characters looked like, as in a direct response to the music and the text. So I had this idea. I started working on sculptures, and I went to the LA Opera Administration and I said, I'm creating this show of opera characters. Can I exhibit it at the Opera House? And they loved the idea, and we decided to do it the following season. So I had a really long lead time, and as I was building these masks, I kind of decided to take the leap as a fine artist and start casting in bronze. And that opened up a whole world of possibility of being able to weld a little structure on the inside of the face and actually kind of create a whole three-dimensional diorama inside the head. So I started with this exhibition that I called Sculpted Arias, that were masks with interior dioramas. And then that showed those in LA, and then I was offered a show in Santa Fe a couple of years later, and the series really grew at that point into being more full busts of characters and some relief pieces, but also still with stuff on the reverse side. And since then, I don't just do opera inspired work, although it's a big passionate part of what I sculpt. I do just contemporary portraiture. I do contemporary figurative sculpture. My work is quite classically based, so you're always going to see sort of a classically sculpted face. And I always kind of joke that I've learned anatomy from the fingertips down. I mean, now I use anatomy books, but the way I really learned it was,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
having my hands on people's faces. So I feel really lucky that I've been able to have these two aspects of my career, the theatrical designer aspect and the sculptor aspect, that really completely speak to each other and interrelate to each other. And when I do gallery exhibitions, I often have both masks and sculptures in the show. If any viewers would like to get a little longer look at these, I do have a website called operaart.com. It's also called BK Sculpture Studio, but the Opera Art came first, and they both go to the same place.
Okay, good.
Brunhilde, this is a whole series of small medallions, pewter medallions of the ring cycle. They're front and back. It's 4 medallions front and back.
And I'm also just noticing to the audience's right, there's a head of Giuseppe Verdi.
There is indeed. And then in the back of his head is the piece is called Verdi Dreams.
Okay.
And the back of his head, the inside is painted like a sky. And there's a little stage with a wheel that has scenes from 6 different operas. And there's a little key that you can turn so that one opera appears on the top of the stage as you're turning the key, and then the opera scene keeps changing. A little interactive piece.
Well, Verdi is our opera god, and we can't wait to hear him in the Berkshires this summer.
Oh yeah,
masterpiece, Falstaff. Becky, thank you so much. It's all the time we have for today. A reminder that you can learn more about Berkshire Opera Festival's upcoming season, including our productions of Falstaff and Glory Denied, by visiting our website, www.berkshireoperafestival.org. We also encourage you to subscribe to BOF's YouTube channel, where you can catch up on the entire series. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon on the next segment of OperaLens.